Okay, so welcome everybody to the Art of Being certification welcome call. I'm going to mute you all somehow, some way. Maybe you can all mute yourselves for me instead. And we're going to go through this, and I'm just going to tell you that there might be some slides that I get to that you have more questions about. There's probably a slide after it that explains it, so don't worry. And then at the very end of all of this, I'm going to go into opening us up for Q&A. So if you have paper and pen near you, if you have questions, write them down so that you can ask me at the end. And if you don't want to ask in a group forum, that's okay. I will take private questions at any time. You can send them to me in Messenger or Box or wherever feels good to you. All right, so the Art of Being certification, the study of the power within, and there's other taglines sometimes, but that's where we're going to start. All right, so I'm going to start with me and who I am and why I created the Art of Being certification. Right, so here is my lovely little surroundings of my people. In the center is my sweet dog, Luca, who inspires me all the time. And then these two little guys are my guys when they were much younger. And that's really when I started on my journey to creating a legacy that I could be proud of. And for me, a legacy is really who I am and then what I do with that. And then this is Joe. We're a little bit wackadoodle sometimes. And my boys, this is what they look like this summer. They've already gotten bigger than that. So, but that was when we went whitewater rafting. And I was terrified, even though it was my second time. And they were like, yeah, that was all right. Not such a big deal, Mom. So there we go. That's why. So I'm here to build a legacy I'm proud of that shows my family that what I speak is who I am and what I do. It is also about creating a lasting impact that reaches far beyond where I can touch. That's why the certification was born, because I realized what I was doing with my work was touching a lot of people, but nowhere near the amount of people that needed it. So I know that this work is very different, and I wanted to bring it to as many people as want to become certified in it and to become a facilitator and mentor to others. It's also for this little girl who used to be me, who had a lot of spunk and then was silenced, tamed, and had to fight her way back to be free to just breathe, speak, and be who she was. She started off life with a lot of energy and voice, and she kind of lost it along the way from trauma, as well as just fitting into society and trying to be good. So there's me. I'm a little crazy sometimes, but I want to share with you guys how I communicate, and then also how you can communicate with me so that you make sure that you're pivotally heard. You feel that you're heard and seen and you're getting what you need. So I'm very inclusive. I use a lot of questions because I feel like curiosity, the energy of curiosity is really important, but also questions invoke possibilities even before they invoke answers. So if I ask you a question and you don't have an answer, I'm going to tell you that's really cool, because you may need to wait and pause for the answer to come from a space that's deeper inside of you, that may have been silenced a long time ago. Or you may need to wait for an answer that comes from outside of you, which is the universe and the collective consciousness, bringing in something greater than you could ever imagine. I also swear, so I like to tell people that right up front. I do it because I feel like swear words create an energetic punctuation. It can move things that regular speech can't. Sometimes we're talking about something really serious, and the little swear word in there takes the seriousness out and actually creates movement. And so it's a really powerful way of being So I don't use it frivolously. It's really intuitive. I wouldn't say purposeful. It is purposeful, but it's way more intuitive. I try to speak with impact and the ability to shake things up with an element of fun and informality. So everybody can show up the way that they are and feel good about it. So those last two pieces, I didn't always love about myself that I shook things up. I really went into a lot of this work very reluctantly. The universe was constantly inviting me to create a new conversation that created results that people were longing for, but I fought it and tried to fit in with other modalities and other certifications and other groups. But in the end, I was constantly feeling uncomfortable and finding the ways that it wasn't quite what was bubbling up from my system. So the universe beckoned me back to be this first. So to me, the art of being certification is really about embodiment before it's about guiding anyone else. So that's a huge part of this for you guys. And so the universe beckoned me back and then asked me to birth it so that others could bring it to the world too, i.e. you guys. So there we go. So once I stopped resisting and I said yes to the invitation, a sense of freedom, peace, and momentum took place. And you guys might be in that place right now where you're saying yes to this. And there's some trepidation, and especially in the midst of the pause between saying yes and the certification starting. Allow the universe to come in and still support you, because freedom, peace, and momentum are on the other side of it as you take action. So I just wanted to bring you this fun little image that makes you have a space of, I don't know, it makes me sigh. So what is the art of being certification? It's an online 12-month intensive program. It's built to honor all that has been experienced so that it can be utilized to create a life worth living. So I'm just going to hang there for a second. We're not releasing anything. Okay. We're not eliminating, we're not cutting off. Everything always exists. So we're moving into a space of wholeness where we can utilize everything that's ever happened to create more in our lives. So just like the earth asks for shit to be used as fertilizer for growth, the same thing in our own lives and in the lives of our clients. There are a lot of things that people are trying to transform or shift out, that if they actually embraced and used them, so not just embraced them, but used them for their lives, things would open up. They would have a lot more peace, freedom, and power in their own lives. It's also about showing our clients and ourselves how to unearth the parts of themselves that have been locked away so that they can finally feel whole and move forward with ease. This is a pivotal part of this. So many people are trying to do all the things, trying to please and trying to show up as parts of themselves that have been applauded, and not allowing the other parts of themselves to have enough room to stretch and to be, so that they can actually feel whole. Once people feel whole, life really transforms. So this is a key part of this certification, and there's so many tools around it. So what else? It stands in the gap between therapy and coaching. So we're not just forward moving, we're grabbing all the stuff from the past and using it as the fuel, kind of like behind a rocket is the fuel and it combusts and sends somebody forward. We're grabbing all of that and taking it with us. We're not staying in a space of therapy though, where like we're going to go back in and we're going to dig it all up and hang out there. We're going to use it. Okay. It honors the pain while using it as fuel for the way forward. It celebrates the aspects of self that have often been corrected or silenced so that the individual can feel at home in their own life. I'm going to put in here, in their own bodies, and be confident in their own desires, voice, and actions. So, a major aspect of the art of being comes from the Muse method. It is at the center of everything that we do because it's the pause that allows people to connect to themselves. And it's the place where they are allowed to take up more space with themselves before they bring themselves and their body into their lives. It's really important that the 4 aspects are always honored when we're doing the Muse method, that we have that as the intention. If you don't have that as the intention, everything changes. So I've had people in the past go in with an intention like they've done with other energetic modalities where I'm gonna find a way to release however bad I'm feeling, instead of, this isn't about release. The release happens as a byproduct. It is I would say it's a guaranteed bonus, but if you go into it, you miss the most pivotal part, which is pausing to connect to self and take up more space in your body and your life. Okay, so the byproduct is phenomenal, but our priority is integral. Number 2 is hands-on, because touch is integral to wholeness. It's integral to us feeling like we matter. And so we don't want to remove that piece where we're actually bringing touch to our own lives, into our own bodies, and moving into the body, which is 7/8 of our wholeness. So our head, our brain takes up 1/8 of the entire body, and we really want to integrate the whole thing. So we're not discounting the brain and the head, we're just bringing it into a space of wholeness. So hands-on, and you'll learn about that in the course. Eyes closed so that you can move from living from only in your brain and begin to live from the body's wisdom as well. It also helps us to go into our intuition, into our third eye. And then breath. We all know that we don't live if we don't have breath, but it also brings back vitality and purpose back into a body that's living in constant fight or flight, which is a majority of the humans on this earth these days. All right, what are the key elements in this certification? So the key elements are, there's 3 webinar-based lessons each month. They are, for those of you who are showing up live, they're on Thursdays at noon Central Standard Time. And they are also recorded, and so they'll be on the portal, which is the website. I will send everyone a link that signs up, and you will be able to have access to everything that we ever do will be on this portal. So 3 webinar-based lessons each month. More about that soon. There's also 3 pod support calls each month starting on month 2. So your pod calls, or your support calls, however you want to call those, are with other people in this group, and you guys are going to do it through Zoom, and you're going to set up your own time that you're going to consistently have. And those are, again, in the first 3 weeks of the month, because it's really important for us to keep the end of the month for people to either catch up or to have their own life, to travel, whatever they want to do. There's also 4. So there's quarterly live practice calls with me so that you can practice, get feedback all together. Those dates are also in the portal, and then weekly assignments as well. So we'll go into these a little bit more. So the 3 webinar-based lessons each month. The first 3 Thursdays of the month, as I said earlier, they're around 45 minutes to an hour long. They will be recorded and stored on the portal, the Art of Being website. Their webinar, just like this, so instructional only. And then after the webinar, there will be 15 minutes of interactive Q&A for anyone who shows up live. Next is the 3-pod support calls each month. You start month 2. So for those of you who are not starting in January, there will be people in the future who start in March or a year from now. They're always going to start on month 2, and you will be sent who your group is. Your pod groups will be announced by the end of your first month. Your group decides when during week 1, 2, and 3 of each month that you're going to meet. And then of course, just like we said a little while ago, not week 4, because that is your honoring you week, where you have a week without calls and a great for catch up reviews or taking a pause. And then if there's a week 5, you get a bonus, a bonus week of even more time for you. The quarterly live practice calls 4 times throughout the year. These are live, online, and interactive. The goal is to practice the tools and get feedback live. You are required to attend a minimum of 3 out of the 4 calls, and the list of these dates is in the syllabus on the portal. Weekly assignments. These are online forms to be filled out in order to access the next lesson. The goal of your assignments is to own the tools and information, play with the information shared in a way that is fun and helpful, and it's also to gain clarity and momentum in this course. They're not assignments like you did in school. They're there to like help you embody it. And also, they're a way to send me information so that if you need feedback, I can give you feedback too. So these should be fun and really pretty easy. Sorry, let me go back to that. There's also going to be later on weekly assignments where you're going to be working and recording Zoom calls with somebody else, whether it's a friend or a potential client or a client, where you're using them as a practice person. You're actually helping them using the tools that we're using during that month. Those are really wonderful assignments because once you record it and you send it to me, you can get feedback. Or what I would highly suggest is that you watch them yourself and you gain feedback while also being really kind to yourself. One of the most important things in this entire course is that you're tuning in to you and you're tuning in to your client. That at all times you're showing up with that happening first, more than staying clean and clear to the tool. Okay, so we want to really be honoring intuition, connection, and what the other person is saying. Other important elements. Okay, so facilitation, feedback, and transcripts. So I kind of just went into, you're going to record just like we're doing here today, and then you can email me. Those are going to be due at certain times, and so that will be in the syllabus too. Right now, what's in the syllabus is monthly. I'm going to bring that down a little bit, so it's a little bit less. That's just so that you can feel good about what's happening and get feedback. At the end, there will also be transcriptions that are due. So that's written out words of what's happening in your coaching session. Don't freak out about that. I'll help you with that in the future. And there's really great programs online now that allow you to do that. And if you have a Mac, it's automatic, it's free on a Mac that you can get it to transcribe what you're saying. So that's really good. There's a certification test. So their certification test has 2 elements. One is a recording of your coaching that you do with somebody else, and the other is just questions with short answers. And that's at the very end of all of this. So at the end of the 12 months. I've also added to the portal behind the scenes journal videos. They're really short. They're probably 4 or 5 minutes or less. And those are really in the moment journals. Like when things are happening for me as an Art of Being coach, I share with you how I'm feeling, what's going on, and how I move through it using the tools that I will be sharing with you. Because the reality is, I want you guys to know even with all the certifications and even with all the confidence in the world, you're still going to go into places where you feel heavy, dark, feel like you can't do it anymore, and that's okay. Even 5 years in, a year in, and these are different ways that you can move through that and utilize all the energy that's coming up instead of cutting it off, making it wrong, but utilize that energy for creation and for your clients too. So those are hopefully really fun for you. Yeah, I've already got several of them waiting in the bank for you. So you actually are going to get 2 certifications during this year-long course. One is your group facilitation certification around month 4. So you will be able to already go out and do work with groups, and we will focus on that so that you'll be ready for that. And then your private mentorship certification will be after the 12 months. Okay. 2 more things is it's really up to you what you get to support this certification. So each person is really different. I love the really thin notebooks to take notes in and keeping it all in one place. And then having a separate journal for different aspects where I'm journaling, not taking notes, but really embodying some of this. And I will be guiding you through some different ways to journal that can create more momentum, freedom, and power in your life. So I would highly encourage you to keep asking yourself the question, what else do you need? Because you might start off with a tiny little spiral like this and then go, gosh, I would like to have a 3 subject one and keep everything in one place rather than a journal. You probably know yourself better than anyone. So ask those questions now, but allow yourself to course correct as we get into it. It's okay to change. Okay. You can also get a binder if you decide that you want to print the syllabus or the lessons, any of that kind of thing. Because with what do I want to say? With the recorded lesson, if there's any slides, I will put those in a PDF that you can also print. But it's really up to you because they're all going to be digital and you can access them at any time, even after you've graduated. So up to you. Many of the concepts in this course are different and may challenge the concept you've grown up with or learned elsewhere. My advice to you is to pause, check in, and really ask questions about how those concepts land with you. Stay in a space of curiosity and play. Play with them. I will also be asking you questions around them rather than saying, this is something that you must agree with, because I really want you to tap into the power of these concepts that the universe has handed my way to bring a new conversation to the world and to bring new sense of wholeness to people who haven't been able to find it elsewhere. So you get to play with those and stay in a space of curiosity and find how they land in your body, and then also communicate how that's landing with you. They are created to expand your world as well as the worlds of the people that you're working with, and to create results for you and those you eventually work with. All right. So I have a couple testimonies that I just want to read to you that really touched me and has helped me to continue wanting to birth this work. Because you guys know that anytime you're moving into a space of expansion, there can be times where you think that you're not enough. And yet I fully embrace I'm never enough. Like, I'm really never enough. That's why I need to lean into the universe and to know that the universe is using me, utilizing me in order to birth something new into the world. So Gina shared this with me. She said, you have taught me so many things that are very different than I have ever learned and been told. The difference is your tools have produced results, not just any results, but amazing, lasting, effective results. I cannot wait to learn more and share this with all of those around me. I love results. Like, to me, that's why the tools have been created the way that they have, because the universe has brought them to me, but also because they create results in a way that other tools that I've used in the past didn't. It is mind-blowing to me to use these tools. I am in awe on a daily basis. The number of people who have sought help in so many areas of their life and have not found the results that they are literally dying for, that they are longing for. And so, again, results are the byproduct of going to the place where we are unearthing and connecting people to themselves and allowing them to take up more space in their body and their own lives. The results are always secondary, but they show up. But if you go in like trepidatious, right? Like looking for results, oftentimes that blows up in your face. The priority is always going to be connecting people with themselves, allowing them to take up more space and to feel safe in your space, being all that they are, the wholeness that they are. The other testimony that I wanted to share, which was so huge to me, this is somebody who owns a yoga studio and does a lot of mental health work. Danielle shared, your processes and practices are the only methods I truly trust to make a difference. I will be interested in your graduates to work at my studio. And when she said that, I was just like, how exciting is it that there's already somebody out there looking for people who are going to graduate from this and to show up live at her studio and help people. Of course, you can do this work virtually too. So the proof is in the pudding. We've already talked about results. The proof is in the results. In our case, the proof is in the smiles, the lives change, and the internal experience that creates a fulfilling life. Literally, for me, I have worked with people who were on the edge of not wanting to live. People don't need to go all the way there to ask for our help, but there are many people where their relationships are dying, their body is moving into disease or into just crippling tension. They are racked by depression or anxiety or frustration that are looking for a way forward that includes them. So that is where we get to stand in the gap and say, it is possible to have a very fulfilling life. And if you just trust in these tools and these processes, they will allow you to have that. So some key terms we will play a lot with is wholeness rather than healing, because when you move to wholeness, healing happens. It's a byproduct, right? Curiosity is really the foundation of all of this work. And I would put in there too the energy of play. We will also talk about being centered in self. And then another massive piece for us is that we will look and lean into the universe that everyone involved gets blessed. In so many work, I hear the words that as soon as you focus on yourself, everything else falls apart or everyone else falls away. Oftentimes, they may need to pause, but you will find people support you that you never thought possible because you asked for everybody in the entire situation to be blessed. It is an integral part of the things that we do, that we don't shut off anything or anyone. That doesn't mean we stick around and wait. We allow ourselves and our clients to move forward in a way that honors us. And then we ask for whatever comes out from that choice, that it blesses everyone behind, around, and in front. And many times people rise to the place and become are almost given the freedom to move into choices they wouldn't have if you weren't doing that yourself or you weren't guiding your clients to do that. Another huge piece is that we are co-creators with the universe. I'm going to use the word universe a lot. I'm really good if you use the word God. I'm good if you use the word collective consciousness or any other form that works for you. It's that collective energy that there is something that desires to be part of us, to support us, and to lead us forward. And so many times it comes through a mystical way, like kind of out of the blue. You just feel it, sense it, but it's also God, the universe, the collective consciousness works through other people, other experiences, other things, other animals, and so on. So look for how it happens for you as well as others. All right. So all of that. Thank you so much for you guys showing up today. I'm going to open up the Zoom in a moment for Q&A. And I also want to invite you to say, if you feel you know anyone that might be interested in an avenue where they can create a life-changing impact and include their own life, feel free to share my information or the website. But for right now, I'm super excited to go on this journey with each of you. And I feel incredibly blessed because I know the universe has moved through you, and each one of you has a different gift and essence to bring, not just to others and the clients that you're going to have, but to me. And so I can't wait to create this way forward with each one of you. So thank you. Oh, and here's Luca. He's excited you're taking this incredible step with us too. People are waiting. This is the thing, like tap into this. People are waiting. They're praying for you to step in. They're longing for who you are to show up for them. And it's your life that's going to make such an imprint on them that they're able to step forward in a way that they can't do if you don't step forward in your own. So I'm super excited about. All right. Let me open up here. Let me stop share and stop this.